Hello lovely people, JJ is here, and in this video I'm gonna teach you the understanding of how to create a reggae bass line. What are the principles behind it? What are the things that you should look at or look for or consider when you're creating a reggae bass line? So I'm gonna take it step by step in terms of what options do you have if you're playing over a chord progression with two chords and then with three and then with four, and have all those chords be different, so that I can explain what notes you should consider for each and every single chord. So what I'm gonna start with is here with the guitar. I'm gonna play a chord progression in the key of A, which is gonna be A and B minor. So it's A here, 5th fret, and the B minor. Let me tune the guitar. Guitar is in tune, so I'm gonna play A and B minor. So this is what the guitarist is doing, playing the rhythm. So I'm gonna loop this. Okay, so it's there. What I do now with the bass is I'm playing, and this is what you have to have in mind. I'm playing A and a B minor. So if I'm playing A, it's a major chord. The notes you have are the major triad. The root, I'll put this a bit up. The root, the A string, the third here on the 4th fret, A string, and the 5th here, which is your E, on the 7th fret on your A string. So you have root, 3rd, and 5th. So that's just the A. So over the A, which is this chord, I'm going to play a bass line with those notes, and then I'm going to change to the notes of B minor, which I'll show you just a moment. So with the notes of A, for example, it's just the first thing came to me. That's for just the A. So let's deconstruct what I have here. I'm playing reggae is not necessarily the notes, it's mostly the rhythm. Obviously you have to play the right notes for the right chord and play with the notes in a way that are nice, but mostly what you have to consider is rhythm. This is rhythm. Played in the wrong chord, so da 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 da. This is the rhythm that is making it sound like reggae. It's not necessarily the notes. So for the B minor, the notes that I have will be the minor triad of B, which are B, your D, and your F sharp. Okay, so that's your root, your minor third, and your 5th. Okay, minor third here is on the 10th fret on the top string, and your 5th of B is here on the 9th fret on the A string. So these are the notes. Okay, so no. So over the A, I'm playing that note bass line with the triad, and over the B minor, I'm just playing the root and the flat third. I'm gonna add the 5th. It sounds like reggae. So that's just playing with the triads. So in a major chord progression, what you have is chord 1 is major, chord 2 is minor. That's why for the A, I'm playing a major triad, and for the B, I'm playing a minor triad. Now let's consider that I'm going to add another chord, which is going to be chord 3, which is going to be a C sharp. So the chord progression is going to be A, B, and C sharp minor. So A major, B minor, and C sharp minor. Let me get the guitar. So I'm gonna play A, B minor, and C sharp minor, and then I'm gonna come back to the B minor. So it's gonna be okay. Grab the bass. So you know for chord 1 it's major triad, root, major third, and fifth. For the B minor it's the minor triad, so that's your shape of the minor triad. And then for the B minor it's also a minor triad. So those are the notes you have to play with. So you understand the principle. You have the triads. I was messing around a little bit trying to find something different, but that's what you want to work with, the triads. And you don't necessarily have to always play root, a third, and a fifth, or either in that order. So you could start on the fifth, like I'm starting on the fifth. There, for chord 1, A. I'm starting on the fifth, not on the root. That adds something different to it. Then I come to chord 2, chord 3, chord 2, chord 2, chord 3, chord 2, chord 1, but starting on the fifth. So you can do those variations. Alright, let's add another chord. The chord progression now is going to be chord 1, chord 2, chord 3, and chord 4. So, grab the guitar. So, chord 1 is major, chord 2 B minor, it's a minor, chord 3 is also minor, and chord 4 is major. And in this case it's going to be a D. So we're going to go A, B, C sharp, and D. B and the C sharp are minor, so it's gonna get something like this. 1, 2, 3, and now chord 4 is a major chord, therefore you're gonna play a major triad. That's my root note D for the major chord, the triad. It's going to be root here. The major triad is just like the one you play on the top string. So major triad on the A, major triad on the D. And now you play with these notes. So what I'm doing in the end, for example, in the end of the chord progression, is I'm coming down the scale, the major scale. So I'm thinking coming down the major scale, not necessarily playing the triad of D, the major there. So I'm going chord 1, chord 2, chord 3, chord 4, and then I just come down, for example, down the major scale. So what is the major scale of A here? These are the notes. If you don't know this, you should really get your fingers around the major scale. and the minor scale, at least one octave. So that's what I'm doing. There you go, going down the major scale. So I'm putting a lot of notes and I'm just really messing around. If you're gonna make a bass line, you really wanna look closely at the chords. A reggae bass line is the song. So when you're making a bass line for a song, you really have to make it catchy. It has to stick in your ear. So if you think of Bob Marley songs, the bass lines, if I play the bass line of one of Bob Marley's songs, and if you know Bob Marley, you're gonna recognize the bass, what the song is, just because of the bass line. So you want to really choose your notes and your rhythm carefully. Alright, but continuing with this, what I'm gonna do now is, instead of playing chord 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm gonna play chord 1, 4, and 5. Okay? Chord 1, 4, and 5 in the key of A is A, D, and E. And all of these chords are major. So if you're noticing, so far we have chord 1 major, chord 2 minor, chord 3 minor, chord 4 major, and chord 5 major. So it's major, minor, minor, major, major. And in terms of tones and semitones, is from chord 1 to chord 2 is a tone, from chord 2 to chord 3 is another tone, from chord 3 to chord 4 is a semitone, from chord 4 to chord 5 is another tone. So that's your beginning of your major scale. Root, second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay? So, guitar. I'm going to play a 1, 4, 5 in the key of A. Chords are A, D, and E. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm doing chord 1, 4, 5, 4. 1, A, D, E, and back to D. So the triads. E triad, D triad, all major. What am I doing with this bass line? I'm using a lot of space, and I'm playing a root and a fifth on the 1, chord 1, just a root on chord 4, chord, and then for chord 5 I'm doing root again and fifth, and then back to the 4. Root and fifth, just the fourth, to the fifth. So what I'm doing in the end of the progression after chord 4, so that's the descending bass line. If I consider the scale, major scale of A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going 4, 3, 2, 7, back to the root. So going down the scale, before the root, resolving into the root. So I mean, this is how I think when I'm making a bass line, when I'm playing, when I'm listening to songs, when I'm learning something. If it involves the bass, I'm always looking at what is the chord that is being played, and what are the notes within that chord that are being played, what is off the triad, because not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily always just use the triads. You could very well, if I'm playing just this 1 4 5 in chord 1, I could, for example, go, what I'm doing here is I'm playing the root and coming here to the 6th, because this is root, 7th and the 6th. So this works well as well. I'm not playing the 3rd or the 5th. 4, 5th, chord 5, 4. So there I'm going into the 6th of A. Okay, so you don't have to always play just the triads. Alright, now we're gonna look at a chord progression with chord 6 in it. So I'm gonna play a very famous chord progression that you can hear, for example, in No One to Cry, which is chord 1, chord 5, chord 6, chord 4. Okay, so that's the one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the chords are A, E, F sharp minor, and D. Chord 6 in a major chord progression is minor. So my F sharp is here, for example, I have it here as well, and it's a minor chord, therefore a minor triad. That's what I'm gonna use. Always the same shape, or there. Okay, so then you play with it. Chord 1, 5, 6, minor triad, chord 4, major triad, chord 1, major triad, chord 5, minor triad, chord 6, major triad, chord 4. Just the triads. Okay, so now obviously you want to, like I said, here I'm mostly looking at the notes. Then you have to really decide on the rhythm, because reggae is more than anything is rhythm. In the bass, not just the drums obviously, but the bass, if you don't have a catchy rhythm to it, is pointless. So when you're considering rhythm, it's not just long notes or fast notes, you have silence. So silence is very important as a bass player, specifically in reggae, because the bass, when the bass is silent, is when the song breathes. And when you play, when you come in with a note, if you're doing it with alternating with a lot of space, the bass line has more impact. So if you're making a bass line for reggae and there's lots of notes all of the time, you have to give it some space for the song to breathe. And by allowing that, you make your notes, each one of them, count much more. So consider that. If this is a progression, I'm not gonna try to work this much, but something like So you see, by adding more space, the bass line changes a lot. So consider all this stuff when you are playing or creating a bass line, and when you're learning as well, when you're learning a song from someone. So if you consider Welcome to Jam Rock, you see the space there? Okay, that's it. That's reggae. All right, thank you very much. I hope this is clear and it helps you to become a better reggae bass guitar player. All right, bye bye. GG's here.